everyone, it's Cathy Zielske here today for Waffle Flower, and I'm going to share a look at the new Sneak Peek Kit Club. So let's take a look at what we have here. Now, as with every kit club, you're going to get the little postcard insert, and if you flip it over, there are ideas on the back and QR codes that you can use to get some more inspiration. So let's open it up and take a look. First, we've got these really fun sentiment strips to play with, little greetings that are themed for this particular kit, and look at the best friends die. How fun is that? All the little doggies. And then you have this oversized friend word and shadow. So that is such an all-purpose die. You're also going to get some black core foam strips, and that's a cool addition. And we have the Paw Print Stencil Duo, a layering stencil, which is what I'm going to use today. So it's a 2 stencil set, and I'm going to create a beautiful rainbow paw print background. And we're going to start with the first layer. Now, there are etchings on the stencils, but I just cut a random piece of cardstock, and I'm going to tape it just like this to the stencil, and that will hold it in place for me. Of course, I have my well-loved mini stencil mat. I love blending on this, and I love to be able to just push that stencil up into the corner. I'm going to start with the red in my rainbow. So this color is called Blush, and I'm going to use a very light hand for this first layer. I want to be a little bit purposeful with this lightness because when I come in with the detail, I'm going to use the exact same colors to add that detail, and of course, use a heavier hand. But I'm just blending out the rainbow here. So the next color is a pretty orange called Peachy, and I'll overlap just a little bit to get that transition working and continue to blend over the openings on the stencil. Now, I decided once I had got a little bit far into this that I did want to tape the other side down as well, just so that the stencil did not lift while I was blending. And continue. Any rainbow colors you have will work for something like this, but I also thought it was really appropriate for a card that you're going to send to someone who has lost their best friend, you know, the rainbow bridge. That was the inspiration for choosing this simple rainbow combination. Bringing in the yellow and then transitioning into the green. Again, soft hand, overlap, get that blend working, and start working down. We're almost through the rainbow. And the last color is a soft blue. Now, I didn't have enough room to do an entire rainbow. I often do that, where I'll do sort of an abbreviated rainbow, but look at how pretty layer 1 looks. I love it. Now, for adding the next stencil, it's so easy. I'm just pushing it right back into the upper corner of the cardstock and taping it into place. Now I'll just work in reverse order, but here I'm going darker to get that tone-on-tone contrast for the detail on the paw prints. In this way, you don't really need a ton of colors, but it seems like you are actually working with multiple colors in the same family group. It's just going lighter on layer 1 and darker on layer 2. So this is really great if you don't have a ton of inks, right? Maybe you don't have tones in every color of the rainbow. This will give the illusion that you do. Isn't that fun? And now I have a panel that I can cut down to whatever size I want. So I'm going to use my A2 layers dies, and I'm going to pick one that fully can encompass my friend greeting, and I'll just tape this into place. Now this is why I like to use a larger piece of paper than needed, because I love to use my A2 layers dies to cut the crop that I want. So don't be afraid to waste a little paper, if you will, to get that full stencil image exactly how you want it, and then trim it down. I love how that looks. Now I went ahead and cut out some friends in white cardstock and in a matte gold. I'm going to use spray glue off camera to add adhesive to the backs, and then I will stack them all together for a little bit of dimension. Love to do this for my greetings. It just makes them look so substantial. And we'll add that top matte gold. And I just think this gold is so pretty with the warmth of the rainbow. So I'll glue that right down, press that. It's pretty easy to line up these larger die cuts as well. And then I'll just put something heavy on it and let that adhere. I'll use liquid glue, however, to add this to the shadow layer because sometimes I like to have a little bit of float time that the liquid glue affords while I am lining this up and wiggling it into place. But again, these die cuts are so easy to line up on the shadow layers. Then I'll add the dot to the eye, also known as the tittle, right on the shadow layer base itself, just because it's so small, it's much easier to do it this way so that you don't have to try to hold a little tiny dot in your hands and stack it. I think, yeah, easier to do this way. And there we go. Then I'll glue the little doggy together as well because he's going to have, or she's going to have, a little dimension as well. So cute. And that's just one dog of the whole set. I love it. My note card here is going to be a USA 2. This cardstock is 8.5 by 5.5, and I will score it right at 4 1/4. And that will fold down to be a standard USA 2, so that is 5.5 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches tall. I'm going to pick one of these sentiment strips, and I want it to be very, very simple. So I think I'm just going to use the To My, and I'm going to pop that out. Now, if there are little tabs, you can take a mono sand eraser, just where that little bit of paper is, and just sand that off, or you can trim it as well. And I'm going to take the black core foam strips and pop that onto the back. Another thing I like to do with these types of strips is take a Copic marker. This is Copic T10, and I just color over the sides where the white cardstock shows through that these are printed on. And that way it just looks like it's solid black cardstock all the way through. So easy to do, just a little extra step. I'll pop my panel onto the note card. And then for the greeting, I have foam tape on the back, but I'm also going to add a little liquid glue just for that little bit of wiggle room. I'll bring in my T-square and make sure that the greeting is perfectly straight, and that looks great. The T-square really helps me to get it perfectly lined up. I will pop in our sweet little doggy friend, and then I decided to snip just a little bit more off of this sentiment strip because I wanted it a little smaller. I recolored the sides, and then I'm popping it right there. Isn't that sweet? Oh, I love it. All right, finishing off with just a few gold sequins, and you can see how simple this design is, but I would love to have this on hand, and now I do, to give to any friend who has lost their special friend. So that is the finished card project using things from this kit number 2. I hope this inspires you to have fun with this kit. Thank you so much to Waffle Flower for having me as a guest. I loved creating with this kit.